Hi, welcome back. In this unit, we'll introduce ourselves to research design, which one might say is the central theme of our Tour 298 and Tour 299 bundle. So, what is research design? A research design is a plan by which a researcher identifies and selects the types of information, as well as the sources of these information, that he or she will use to answer a particular research question. A research design is also a framework that allows the researcher to specify relationships among the variables that make up his or her study. Finally, the research design is also the process by which researchers outline the steps and research activities that they will undertake in conducting the study, starting from the research problem and hypothesis to the collection and analysis of data. In very simplistic terms, your research design summarizes the methods that you intend to employ in order to answer your specified research problem or objective. Your final output for this course will be a research proposal. When it is approved, you will implement that as your thesis project. For both your research proposal and your future thesis, Chapter 3, or the Methods chapter, corresponds to your own research design. The research design involves four broad questions. We will discuss each of these questions in more detail in the next lectures. But just to introduce ourselves to research design as a whole, we can say that it addresses the following questions about our research project. Who or what are the subjects that we are studying? The research design will define and describe our subjects as the study's units of analysis and observation. Often, the unit of analysis is exactly the same as the unit of observation. However, there are some instances when we want or need to observe our main subject of interest indirectly rather than through direct observation. For example, we may be interested in an organization like the Asian Institute of Tourism as our unit of analysis. However, we may propose a project where we get our data from the students and graduates of the school. In that case, the students and graduates will be our units of observation, from whom we can gain insight about our unit of analysis, the organization that is the Asian Institute of Tourism. How will the subjects be selected? The sampling method in our research design will describe how we will identify and select the subjects that we will study from the population of possible units of observation that our research problem applies to. We say that the subjects that we select, in some systematic manner, to be part of our study make up a sample that is meant to represent our population. In this context, represent does not mean that they speak for the population that they belong to. Rather, it means that we, the researchers, will take our observations from the sample to be representative of the population. That means that we assume that what we observe from the subjects in our sample are probably or likely what we would expect to find in the population as a whole. We can also run tests to check how reasonable that assumption will be. How will the data be collected and analyzed? These are the methods that we will use for collecting and analyzing the data. In our research proposal, we also refer to these as procedures because the research design should not only report what methods were used, but also how these methods were implemented in terms of specific steps and tasks. Take note that it is the data that we collect from our observations or collection activities and the techniques for analyzing them that we can classify as either quantitative, i.e., numbers, or qualitative, i.e., words. Some data collection methods tend to result in more qualitative data, while others will generate more quantifiable data. However, without knowing what questions will be asked or what kind of data will be collected, we can't say for sure that a survey, an interview, or some other design is more quantitative or more qualitative. Finally, how will the time and budget constraints be dealt with? The research design is a plan of action. Any research proposal, whether for a thesis or an applied research project in our company, should include a budget, timeline, and work plan. which describes the resources, logistics, and time that you will need to complete your study. This is also a very useful tool for evaluating how feasible or doable your proposed project will be. So that's our overview of research design. In our next module, we will talk about different approaches to research that influence research design.